So hello, we're here to celebrate and recognize Bill Qualls being inducted into the AMA Fellow Society. It is an honor, long time coming, and very well deserved. We were charged by the AMA to do this, to put together a little video that they could use and celebrate Bill's accomplishments. I met Bill in 1987. It was at the beginning of my doctoral program at the University of Michigan, and I was assigned as his RA. And I still remember the day when we first met, and he was so patient because I was about as green as you can imagine. I had no idea what I was doing. I had been in industry for 15 years, and I really had no idea what the scholarly life was all about. And I couldn't have asked for a better mentor, a better guide, a more patient professor. And I must say that I was truly blessed also by the fact that he, as a man of color, understood better than I understood what was coming and the things that I would have to deal with. And he prepared me in a deep way. So I am very honored to count him as a friend, as a colleague, as a mentor. And I am super excited that he's being recognized in this way. Nominating him and now celebrating his receiving this honor is just a natural progression of our friendship. So, Bill, with that in mind, I'm going to ask you a few questions and have you share your wisdom with the rest of us. Okay, is that all right?
Sounds good.
Very good. So tell me, Bill, when looking at your academic career, what are some of the sources of strength and inspiration that kept you going?
Well, in thinking about that question, I think a motto by Martin Luther King captures my feelings the best. And he said that the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and critically. And that leads to character and intelligence. That is the goal of true education. I believe I stand on the shoulders of others who have superior accomplishments and superior reputations. But I do think of myself as an educator. And I believe that by investing in the excellence of students, whether they're managers, undergrads, or graduates, and by providing them with educational or knowledge and leadership skills, it prepares them for their future opportunities and their success. And that's one of the main reasons I went into academia and education. My strength comes from first my family and then the community in which I serve. Now, those are based upon the two passions that I have, which is the passion for learning and the passion for giving back.
Mm-hmm.
A true educator is attempting to change the world by changing the way in which people think through the education that they achieve. This to me is an educator in how I see myself. The AMA as an organization has provided me with an opportunity to actually learn and give back. In terms of learning, my interest has fostered over the years based upon my research. And the number one research question that I've always been interested in is how individuals make decisions. In the context, though, of households, families, organizations, dyads, managers, whether they're individuals, consumers, or organizations, I was interested in what influences the individuals in their decision making process to lead to that outcome. And it wasn't so much the outcome that I was interested in or the answer to that question, is what each time I found an answer, it fostered another question.
Yeah.
And it's that research question that drives you to keep going on and on it because at each opportunity, I was learning. Whether it was reading someone else's research or was it reading my own or discussing it with others across the world, I was learning. And that learning provided me with an opportunity to give back by exchanging my ideas with individuals through print or through discussions or conference presentations or whatever they might be. So that's, my passions are the passion for learning and the passion for giving back.
Some people would say that Bill Qualls passionate. The man is cold and always very careful and always under control. But I can attest to passion, because you show passion not with lots of fireworks, but with determination and strength and focus, that in the face of all kinds of setbacks, you just keep going. You allow that passion, that soul to guide you. And many people have benefited from that. So let me shift directions a little bit, and let me ask you this question. If you were asked to help the field bring about more sustainable, equitable, and just markets in the coming decades, what would be your number one priority?
Well, in exploring or by exploring the ideas and the exchange of information by other scholars and educators from across the world, that should help put us in a better position on how to change the world for the better. I think this can best be achieved in terms of this future environment we're talking about, a more equitable environment, is by improving the environment in terms of the diversity in the way in which we think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I first attended the AMA conference, the hue of the audience was much different. There was only about 10 people of color or African Americans across the world at that particular time. Now, such an environment is one that I have been used to and am used to, being one of the few, but it's also one that I believe I could change. And that by changing that environment in terms of the way we think or diversity in thought, that can be achieved by having people who might approach a problem or issue differently based upon their background, based upon the different experiences they have, and yes, even based upon their ethnicities. So I've tried to bring about that change of diversity and thinking in the field, not only in terms of the type of research that I do, because mine is in the context of business to business rather than consumer, but also by providing a bridge for people who are interested in academia or marketing as a career. And I provided that opportunity to give them my experiences and my knowledge, or even just a shoulder to lean upon or to reflect when they're having different experiences in their own environment. Mm. I think it's important that by sharing my philosophy of what I was brought up in that environment, helps to make up scholars or make the scholars of today and managers in the marketing field more knowledgeable about how diversity adds to the value of what we do as marketers and educators. Mm-hmm. Now, the AMA and the PhD project today has done a lot to foster an environment of inclusiveness by inviting more people of color into the discipline and into the arena. But it needs to bring about even more change. One of the priorities I would have would try to broaden the criteria by which we evaluate an educator. The scholars today are not just evaluated based upon the number of citations or the types of journals they're publishing in or how many journals they publish in. Impact comes from how the community changes based upon the research that we're doing. Mm-hmm. As the educators, our contributions in the classrooms and in our communities should be weighed equally in terms of when we're evaluated at our respective institutions. The AMA could do a lot more in helping institutions to evolve mm-hmm. as marketing has evolved in terms of both not just recruiting, but retaining faculty and students of color to help change that environment and, more importantly, change the diversity of thought that I was talking about. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, you put yourself into the niche of business to business, but you have made direct and indirect contributions to consumer research as well. Collaborations and mentoring of students who have devoted their and young scholars who devoted themselves to that area. And your wisdom has always been one that can be applied. Your insights can be applied at different levels, and I think that's very important. And this is part of the reason why this award is so deserved, because you have made contributions across the broad spectrum of marketing. So I'm going to ask you one last question, Bill. Given the fact that we're trying to change the future and shape the future, tell me about who you would want to work with you in terms of bringing about this more equitable and sustainable and just marketing field.
Well, first, let me, and please join me in thanking the other AMA fellows, the current and past AMA fellows, who I think have helped to bring about change in marketing in various ways.
Yes.
I think we need to give thanks to great scholars, both present and past, such as Marcus Alexis, Thad Spradlin, Mimi Stamps, Mel Stiff, Jerome Williams, and others who have walked that same path that I did in trying to change the environment for future.
Yes.
I think about my own self, and it was Tom Barry at SMU who brought me into the field of research by showing me the value of research and getting me interested in academia as a career. And I think Tom Kinnear, my first job at University of Michigan, is the one who introduced me to AMA. By the way, I think Tom should be also considered for an AMA fellow based upon all the contributions he's made to the field of marketing. Along with people like Jack Sheff, Don Lehman, Glenn Urban, Rich Lutz, Ken Rowe, and I could just go on and on. In terms of the welcoming environment they provided for me as I came into the field of marketing, I would like to thank them, and they have traveled that path and brought about change as well. But, you know, there's this one person I can't forget to thank, and these are the students that I've worked with along the way. And one in particular is named Professor Jose Rosa, who nominated me for this award. As a student, colleague, co-author, and now a lifelong friend, I want to thank him for providing his shoulders and for generously sharing his time in helping me to achieve my goal, my vision as an education, and my passion for both learning and my passion for giving back. I think people who fit the mold of these individuals that I've talked about have brought about change, and there's a growing number of people who are coming into the market that will help to do that. Eli Jones is one that comes to mind. I think these individuals will continue to bring about the change that's needed to make marketing the field that is all encompassing, all inclusive, and also based upon all types of knowledge.
Thank you. Yeah, those are profound words. And you mentioned some very important people, both in the past and so those young scholars coming forward. I want to close with this. And it's an observation. I'm not going to put you too much on the spot. You have for many years carried the nickname in the PhD project, the Godfather. And there are many meanings to that word. And I know that many people have used it in different ways. But you know, in my tradition, Godfather is somebody who takes it upon themselves to watch the spiritual development of others. And I believe that truly is something that fits you. You have been a godfather to many young scholars, African Americans, Latinx, Chinese, it doesn't matter. You have done it, you continue to do it. And I believe that is more than just, that is something that you do not because of recognition. You do it because of a true love for the scholarship and for what it means to have good scholarly people out there in the classroom. So I honor you as Godfather. You certainly were mine, and it's a word that I use with the deepest respect. So thank you, Bill, and again, we celebrate your accomplishments.
Well, just one last word
Yes.
in terms of, you know, the moniker Godfather. As to me, it is a sign of respect and the impact that I've had, not one that I attempted to obtain, but at the same time, it's provided me an opportunity to share my experiences with individuals and let them make decisions of their own based upon the knowledge of those experiences. And I would hope that that tradition of a godfather, when I'm no longer here to provide that, continues with the young scholars that are growing up today. That
Yes.
we all need people to lean upon at certain times in our lives that provides us with the strength to move on. And with that, never give up.
Right on.
Thank you.